Welcome to Touching Hearts and Changing Lives, hosted by Reverend Otley Holmes, where our vision is touching hearts and changing lives by the power of His Word. Luke 4:18 and 19. Our mission is to go ye therefore and teach all nations. Matthew 28:19 and 20. Now, please join us in a study of the Word of God.
Welcome to Touching Hearts and Changing Lives. This program is listened and supported, and we thank God for Preston Funeral Home Services, serving the Valley in 2 locations, both Tucson and Phoenix. The members of Greater New Zion Missionary Baptist Church, under the leadership of Timothy Newbill III, is their pastor. In fact, Greater New Zion Missionary Baptist Church is inviting you to Christmas on the Street, Saturday, December 23rd from 1 to 3. This outreach is our time to serve our community with love of Christ as we fellowship with food, music, and clothing giveaway. Greater New Zion is located at 350 West Mojave Street in Phoenix. Bring a friend in need. We hope to see you there on the 23rd of December. For more information, call 602-254-1688. Once again, that's 602-254-1688, or you can go online at www.greaternewzionmbc.com, and hope you have a wonderful Christmas. And the membership of Crystal Fountain Missionary Baptist Church. We thank God for our supporters. We would not be able to do this without them. Well, if you've been tuning in, this is Pastor Holmes, your host. If you've been tuning in, you know we're in the study of 2 John. We're going to pick this up about verse 5. We've been talking about this love thing, and we want to just spend some time reiterating what John has been saying then and what he's saying to us now. Verse 5, it says, "And now I beseech thee, lady, not as though I wrote a new commandment unto thee, but that which we had from the beginning, that we are to love one another." And then let me read verse 6. "And this is love, that we walk after his commandments. This is the commandment, that as ye have heard from the beginning, ye shall walk in it." Well, let's look at this a little closer. Now, again, my notes will be coming from the Preacher's Sermon and Outline Bible. I love that commentary. That's just my personal opinion. Anyway, God had said from the beginning that we are to love our neighbor. Now, we've been talking about this love thing, and a lot of times we kind of get this a little twisted in our lives because we think love is that Hollywood, syrupy, fun-feeling kind of thing, but that's not what the love that God is talking about. When we examine closely the life of Jesus Christ, the Bible says, while we were yet sinners, Christ died for us. And that is a demonstration of a love that goes beyond degree. While we were yet unworthy of his love, yet he loved us enough that he died for us. Now, I want to bring out some different types of love. It says, there is the passionate love, or eros. This is the physical love between sexes. The patriotic love of a person for his nation, the ambition of a person for power, wealth, and fame. Briefly stated, eros love is the base love of man that rises from his own inner passions. Sometimes eros love is focused upon good, and other times it's focused upon bad. It should be noted that eros love is never used in the New Testament, coming straight from the Preacher Outline and Sermon Bible. Then there's the affectionate love. I pronounce it storge. Storge love. This is the kind of love that exists between a parent and a child, and between loyal citizens and trustworthy rulers. Storge love is also not used in the New Testament. And then there is endearing love. That is the love that cherishes. That's phileo love. The love of a husband and a wife for each other, of a brother for a brother, a friend for the dearest of friends. It is the love that cherishes, that holds someone or something ever so dear to one's heart. Then there is that selfless love, that sacrificial love, that love that is named agape love, that unconditional love that God showed towards us while we were yet sinners. He didn't wait for us to get our acts together. He didn't wait for us to change our lives, but he loved us in spite of our frailties and all of our faults. So out of the four significant points about love, the agape love is the most powerful, selfless love. The love that God has. It's a love that is possessed by God himself. It is the very attribute and the very nature of God to have this agape love. And so now as we walk into verse 6, love is a behavior, a way of life, a walk. It is obeying God's commandments. God says that we are to love our neighbors as ourselves. And that sometimes is so hard because many of us don't even love ourselves. And so therefore it's so hard for us to get along with other people. We don't have a proper perspective, a proper outlook, a proper viewpoint on how to view others because we view others by a conditional viewpoint. In other words, when they're doing something that's pleasing to me and when they're doing something that I like them to do, when they're doing something for me, then in exchange I will tell them I love them. But the love that the Bible is now talking about is regardless of how they treat us, how they act towards us, we are to love them in spite of, because they are a creation that has been made in the image of God, even though that individual may not recognize God as God. And so therefore, we cannot be selfish. We have to become selfless. And when we become selfless, we are demonstrating the love that God is commanding towards us. Now, that's hard for us to understand sometimes because we immediately fall into the venue and the vein and the way of thinking that, hey, if somebody's using me, I'm not going to stand by and be used. Well, that's not what the Bible is really teaching. It doesn't teach Christians to become doormats and lay down and be abused and used. But it does say, pray for those who despitefully use you. Understand that they are walking in darkness. And because they are walking in darkness, they cannot understand life as we understand life, because before Christ came into our lives, we didn't understand the way of Christ because we were blinded. We were walking in darkness. But see, love suffers long. Love is kind. Love looks for the greater in the other individual. It looks for what they can do for the individual, not what they can get from the individual. We know that great love chapter comes out of 1 Corinthians, the 13th chapter. And it talks about all the attributes of love. Love suffers long, as I said. Is no matter what the person has done to them, they're going to love them in spite of. Love is kind, it's courteous, it's good, it's helpful, useful, giving, showing favors. Love does not resent evil. It does not revel in the hurt and the neglect of others. It doesn't laugh when someone falls short. It is love in spite of what the person has done towards us. Love does not envy. It is not jealous. Boy, we have to sometimes combat jealousy in our own hearts and our own minds so often because we let jealousy creep in. Why are they being blessed per se and I'm not being blessed? And right away you're starting to judge them. Love does not vaunt itself, that it is not boastful, it does not brag, it does not seek recognition, honor, or applause from others. Lord help us, because in the church house we have some folk that, boy, if their names are not up in light, if the pastor doesn't call out their name across the pulpit in front of the entire congregation, they feel slighted, and then they start pulling back and don't want to do anything for the church any longer because the pastor overlooked them. That's not the love that the Bible is teaching us about. Love is not puffed up. It's not prideful, arrogant, conceited. It does not think or act as though oneself is better or above others. Love does not behave itself unseemingly, unbecomingly, rudely, indecently, unmannerly, disgraceful. Love does nothing to shame one's self. So therefore, when we're walking in the power of the commandment of love, we see that it portrays our character in a godlike sense and not in a fleshly sense. Because when we're walking in the power of love, love lifts us up. Love lifts others up. It is better to give than to receive. When we give love, we may not receive it back right away, but it feels so good to give it away. When somebody has despitefully used us, has talked about us, has tried to wreck our reputation, has lied on us, told stories on us, just flat out tried to ruin our reputation, We serve the greater good when we can love them despite of what they have done for you. You cannot, I cannot, we cannot do that in the power of our own flesh. It takes the power of God residing in us by the presence of the Holy Spirit in order to call on the Lord to let us love the way He would have us to love. Love does not seek her own. It's not selfish. It does not insist upon its own ways. Love is not focused upon who one is, nor upon what one has done. Love is kind. Whoa, the clock on the wall says I better wind this up. We'll pick this up again next week. I'm sorry I went over a little bit, but I got so enamored in this thing called love. May the Lord bless you and keep you is my prayer. God willing, we'll see you again next week. This program has been brought to you by Preston Funeral Home, a name you can trust, serving the Valley since 1982. Preston Funeral Home is a family-owned and operated business devoted to serving you and yours with the utmost respect and sensitivity. At Preston Funeral Home, you will have the full attention of our courteous staff and Reverend James M. Preston, owner. We are members of the Better Business Bureau. Preston Funeral Home can not only help you with your final arrangement needs, but can also help you with pre-planned arrangements and burial insurance. We have the experience and the professional services needed to guide you during your time of grief. Ranging from floral services to transportation services, no matter what area of Phoenix, Arizona you are located in, we are here to assist you and explain and offer comfort. Preston Funeral Home is located at 3800 South Central Avenue in Phoenix, Arizona. Call today at 602-304-0083 and allow Preston Funeral Home to serve you. Preston Funeral Home now serving a second location in the Tucson metro area. Preston Funeral Home and Cremation, located at 111 West Grant Road, Tucson, Arizona. 85705 is the zip code. Call them at 520-792-3900. Preston Funeral Home, a name you can trust. For as little as $20 a month, Legal Shield gives you the ability to talk to an experienced attorney without worrying about the high hourly costs. Call your independent Legal Shield associate, Otley Holmes, at 480-695-6436. There's also identity theft protection plans and small business plans also. Once again, contact Otley Holmes, your independent associate for Legal Shield, at 480-695-6436.